Falcons, Panthers, week 1 is just a few days away. So who you got, Atlanta or Carolina? Quick little fun fact for you guys. The last quarterback to be selected first overall and win his week 1 start his rookie year, David Carr, the worst Carr brother back in 2002. It ain't happening again this year. Spam ATL. Welcome into Falcons Today by Chat Sports. Matthew Peterson here, running through the Week 1 injury report along with some keys to victory. I love some good keys to victory. The more cliche, the better. I literally want to drive my car off the road when I see someone say, win the turnover battle. So we're not going to get that surface level. We're actually going to give you some hard-hitting analysis. But first, the injury report. So let's get started with Atlanta's side. Cordero Patterson was limited today with that thigh, a.k.a. just a soft tissue injury. When the veterans get a little bit older, the hamstrings get a little bit tighter. So, unfortunately, that leads to them missing some time. Now, there is some optimism that Patterson might be available week 1. They did not put him on short-term IR when the season started, when the roster came out. So, to me, that's signal that they think he's going to be back sooner rather than later. Kadero Hodge, the wide receiver 4/5 on this team, he was limited as he works himself back from an ankle injury. Jeff Okudah, also with an ankle injury, did not practice, so it doesn't look like Atlanta's going to get the former 3rd overall pick in week 1 at this rate. And then Jonnu Smith just had a nice rest day as he is up there in the age column. Now, Carolina had a bit of a longer injury report. Their wide receivers are all banged up. DJ Chark with the hamstring. Remember, he suffered that injury like 2-3 weeks ago. He did not practice. Defensive tackle Deshaun Williams did not practice with an illness. Adam Thielen was limited with an ankle injury. Terrence Marshall with a back injury was limited. Sam Franklin was limited with a knee injury. And the newly acquired Amir Smith-Marset with an ankle injury was also on the injury report. Now, when it comes to Falcons dubs, I can't guarantee that subscribing actually helps Atlanta win. What I can tell you is YouTube sends me a nice long email every single Monday morning with everyone that watched that did not subscribe. So if Atlanta loses, I know who to blame. Don't be that guy. Hit the sub button down below and make sure you lock yourself in for the best Falcons coverage. Now, moving on to our keys to victory, starting with pressuring Bryce Young. I want his cage rattled. I want his pants with a brown skid at the bottom because of it. I'm talking like Delta Airlines. It goes all over the field. Biohazard. Games canceled. That's what Atlanta's front 4 did to him. You look at this tweet from Ed Weirder, who tweeted out, among Bryce Young's opening day challenges, see, Ed stole this from me. Quarterbacks drafted first overall are 0-13-1 in their first career start over the last 20 years. The last to win was David Carr in 2002 when the Texans beat the Cowboys in the first game in franchise history, which, by the way, first game in franchise history, that's just an easy lock right there. You don't lose your first game in franchise history. So you don't even really count that one, and who knows how much further you have to go back for the first overall pick to win in their first game week 1. So I think this is a mortal lock for Atlanta. I'm that confident. Now, Atlanta's starting offensive line, it's got some question marks. Ike Mekwonu now going into his 2nd year. Been a bit shaky so far holding down the left side. Brady Christensen, Bradley Bozeman, washed up. Chandler Zavala, washed up. Taylor Morton, washed up. There is just nothing special about this offensive line. There is no guy up there that Bryce Young can turn to in the huddle on a crucial 3rd down and say, please keep me upright. Because Atlanta's pass rush, well, it might not feature a bunch of household names. It's got some dudes. And when you got guys, you got dudes, and you've got ballers, and you've got Bud Dupree, maybe a bounce-back year after some tough sledding in Tennessee. Calais Campbell, old reliable, is going to get to the quarterback. David Onyemata is coming off a career year. Grady Jarrett is the heart and soul of this defensive line. Arnold Ebiketie is looking for that sophomore bump. Sure, there's no clear-cut 10-plus sack player here, but I think this group together can get 3 to 4 sacks. And 3 to 4 sacks on fragile rookie Bryce Young, who can barely see over his offensive line, that should be enough to solidify a win for Atlanta. Now, number 2, how's Matthew Bergeron going to do? Atlanta did not draft him with a plan in place to have him start week 1, in my opinion. Or at least that wasn't the plan once they opened up training camp because he was running with the second-team offense. But once Matt Hennessy got placed on IR, and Jalen Mayfield was proven to be just an atrocious NFL player, well, Matthew Bergeron got tossed into the starting left guard spot. This was the plan eventually. I don't know if it was the plan for week 1. It is the only question mark on the offensive line. And what have I been saying for a long time, ladies and gentlemen? This offensive line will dictate how the Atlanta Falcons are successful in 2023. Falcons go as the offensive line goes. Bergeron is key in this regard. If he can hold up against Derek Brown, Shai Tuttle, and Williams, Atlanta's offensive line should make Desmond Ridder completely scot-free. I'm talking not even having to wash his jersey after the game. But if Carolina identifies a weak point, and that's Matthew Bergeron, they could pick on the rookie. Now, before we get to my other keys to victory, today's show is made possible by Game Time. Producer Roley and myself had a nice little boys trip to Charlotte, North Carolina to get some scouting in on enemy territory, but we also got some awesome tickets that were $20 off thanks to Game Time for the UNC South Carolina football game. Now, buying tickets should not be a stressful process. There should be no stress going to see your favorite team or going to a concert or a comedy show or anything like that. And with Game Time, they eliminate that stress. Now, Game Time is the place to be for last-minute ticket deals. Forget planning months in advance. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Get exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Plus, you can actually see your seat on their app right there. So you get a wonderful bird's eye view of what your view is going to look like. So there's no surprises or no disappointment when you sit down in your seat and you're like, oh, I didn't realize they'd all be ants down on the field. No, you actually know where you are going to sit thanks to Game Time. So snag the tickets without the stress thanks to Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code FalconsChat for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code FalconsChat for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All that information you need, by the way, is down in the comment section along with the description of today's video. Moving on to my third key to victory here, just pound the rock with Bijan and Algier. I know Bijan's the rookie, but in a lot of ways, I feel like Desmond Ridder might be more of a rookie than Bijan Robinson. So don't put too much on number 9's plate. Go to your 1,000-yard rusher, Algier, who's now second behind the mecca of running backs coming out of college football, Bijan Robinson. I can't wait to see him unleashed. We got a little bit of a taste, just a little bit, a little drop on the tongue, if you will, in that second preseason game. But Bijan, the guy's going to go over 100 yards in his NFL debut, probably 2 touchdowns as well. He's that special, and the whole country is going to see why. Sure, Atlanta had a 1,000-yard rusher, but Bijan is going to be cut from a different cloth, and he is going to explode onto the scene. Warren Sharp had a really interesting write-up that I wanted you guys all to see, where he said Bijan Robinson should immediately feast in this scheme. Though it's certainly a questionable team-building approach to invest so heavily in a unit that was already producing. Falcons running backs gained 5 or more yards on a league-best 42% of carries last year. The Falcons my prediction is the Falcons will run for over 175 yards and get 2 rushing scores at least. Desmond Ridder is not going to be spraying the pigskin across the field. They're going to want to pound the rock. They're going to want to eat up the clock. They're going to want to keep Carolina's offense on the sideline. More time for Bryce Young to start getting nightmares at the middle of the game about Atlanta getting all over him. So Bijan going to pound the rock. It's a mortal lock that he's going to go over 100 yards and probably a score or 2 as well. And it's a big key to victory in my eyes. But what is your biggest key to victory? We have run through a couple of mine. Let me know what you think the biggest key to victory is for Atlanta going into week 1 against Carolina. My fourth key to victory, the secondary has to hold up. The secondary does not have to win or dominate for Atlanta to come out on top. But they just can't be a liability. Unfortunately, it's a unit that is dealing with injuries right now. So all I'm asking for is a next man up approach. I don't need Clark Phillips or Mike Hughes to go in and put on the cape and put on a performance of a lifetime filling in for Jeff Okuda. I just need to make sure that the CB2 spot is not going to get picked on, and it's going to be bread and butter for Bryce Young to just throw opposite of A.J. Terrell and have it be cash money every single time. Carolina's wide receiver unit, it's solid, I think. I don't think it's as bad as some people make it out to be, but if DJ Chark can't go and Adam Thielen is a little slow with an ankle injury, that puts a lot on rookie Jonathan Mingo's plate. So even though the CB2 is not going to be going up against some Pro Bowl wide receiver, I don't want them to be a deer in headlights. My fifth and final key to victory, protect the ball, Desmond Ridder. Say something nice about Desmond. I bet he has great ball skills. I bet if you toss him a football just at any point in the day, he'll catch it. Just do that in the game, Desmond. Do not fumble. Do not turn it over. Because Bijan and Algier, they're going to do all the workload. Just don't get in the way. I know it's cliche, and this is what I was talking about earlier, but you win the turnover battle, and you are in a great spot. And I trust that Desmond Ridder can just take care of the ball and be a professional handoffer and not get in the way of Bijan Robinson, right? Not be a liability for the offense going, hey, as an offensive coordinator or as a play caller for Arthur Smith, I can't use 50% of my playbook because I don't trust Desmond Ridder to make the throws. Just don't screw up, Desmond. That's all. You don't have to, put on the cape, and you don't have to be Superman. You just cannot be a huge liability on offense. But predict the score for me, Atlanta against Carolina. Give me your best stab at what you think this final score will be. For me, I'm going Falcons by 10. 27-17. I'm talking 2 Bijan touchdowns. I'm talking an Algier touchdown. And I'm talking a Drake London touchdown for shits and gigs. But no Younghoe Koo extra point on the last one. So 27-17. As for Carolina, I smell, and this is not a good smell, but I smell a block punt. And maybe that's where they get 1 touchdown. And then Bryce Young gets 1 touchdown. And then a field goal. Garbage time field goal, too. And so everyone's wondering if Frank Reich has spaghetti for brains because he's kicking a field goal down 13 points, whatever. So that's my final score prediction. Make sure to subscribe if you have not already. We're going to keep you guys in the loop all year long. So do not miss a thing when it comes to the Dirty Birds when you subscribe.